All right, everybody. Questions for Max? Raise your hand through the Zoom call, and we'll get started. Jesse Doherty, Washington Post.
Max, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you, Jesse?
Good. You've started a lot of opening days in the past. If you could maybe put yourself in the headspace of past opening day eves, so to speak, and maybe does it feel any different right now given all that's going on, or is it mostly the same as usual? I guess just how do you compare the feelings?
It's like every opening day. You're extremely excited to get out there and pitch. For me, I know this one. I'm actually feel really good physically. I'm coming into this, even though we only had 4 spring training starts. I feel like I put myself in a position to be absolutely ready for opening day with all the things considering. Just looking forward to go out there and compete.
And I know you guys, obviously, we've asked this 100 different ways, but you guys did expect to have a full crowd here, a banner in the first weekend, a lot of really exciting things. What have you kind of been able to do as a team to maybe replace that, if anything? Is there a way to replace it? And I guess what's been the approach there?
I mean, I there's no way to know. You'd have to win the World Series and then have all the fan base with you to really know what we're missing out on. For all of us, I think it was our first World Series, so this is the only thing we know, and we're enjoying it together the way we can, the best way we can, and we're just happy that we are playing baseball.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Camerato, MLB.com.
Hey, Max, what do you think the emotions are going to be like tomorrow when you take the mound for the first time, when it's officially beginning defending your title?
Just a lot of excitement. Everybody's going to have that little anxious bug to get going, just because we've been through so much over the past few months. And the fact that we have baseball going up here, especially in this country, to be able to get out there and be able to show our game off and be one of the first sports back, to go out there and compete during this pandemic. And hopefully we can be, a good influence and show everybody how to do this the right way.
Also, you have made countless starts throughout your career, but when you're starting on opening day, can you take us through what that day is like just leading up to going to the ballpark?
It's getting back in the swing of things. Everything's just every little thing you do that day is just enhanced. You're in your routines of, what you do at home, what you do at the field. Just getting ready for everything it takes to go into making a start. And you try to simulate those routines as best as possible, leading up to this, but it's nothing like the real thing. So that's what makes it the best.
David Aldridge, The Athletic.
Hey, Max. I know you have talked about embracing kind of the uniqueness or oddness, if that's the word of this season. Have you visualized in your head what your game day routine will be like in the absence of that kind of buzz from the fans when you go out to warm up and the introductions and all of that sort of thing in an empty stadium?
It's just a challenge you have to accept and just move on. So many different things that you're accustomed to of how we've played the game over the past handful of years. That's not going to happen anymore. For what's going to happen this year, like you said, there's not going to be fans in the stands, and it's going to be a completely different atmosphere. We all know that going into tomorrow. So you got to deal with it and just move on with it, and know that can't alter anything you do on the mound.
Thank you.
Todd Davis, NBC Sports Washington.
Hey, Max, how are you?
Good. How are you, Todd?
Good. So generally at this point, and even on opening day, you would be facing a team that you have a pretty good amount of familiarity with and maybe some good amount of history. In this case, that's not really the case with the Yankees. So, because often you open in the division and it would be the Mets or somebody you see quite a bit, even though there's roster turnover. So is your preparation any different? Does your research need to be any different? And there's been no sample on these guys because everything stopped back in March, and now you're suddenly playing a game.
Yeah. This happens all the time. Even though you might be playing, let's call it a divisional opponent, there might be a new hitter within that lineup that you've never faced before. And so how you go about that, trying to pitch your strengths and try to understand what they can do at the plate. So that cat and mouse game happens no matter who you play, because the constant turnover that's going on in the game, you're always facing new guys anyway. So the fact that I haven't faced the Yankees that much over the past 5 years or 6 years, wherever it's been, that's just what it is. And, they haven't faced me. So, we're just playing the chess game right now.
And whenever someone signs a really large contract, then us in the media often use the phrase, are they living up to the contract? And obviously Gerrit Cole just signed a huge deal there. And whenever their performance is assessed, it's now always correlated to what they're being paid. And you've gone through this for several years. Did you ever think of it in those terms? Am I living up to the amount of money they paid me? Or is that irrelevant because you're just worried about pitching well every day, no matter how much you're being paid?
Yeah, I'm not focused on I can't control any of that. For me, I focus on what I can control, and that's how I go out there in the other days that I'm not pitching, what I have to do to prepare myself to make every single start. So I'm pitching at my best. When I focus on myself and how I handle my starts and what I need to do to be physically prepared to handle the starts, the results take care of themselves. The moment you start getting caught up in what the narrative is and how you start thinking about your contract and all the other hoopla that goes into it, that's when, from my personal experience, and anytime you start thinking about outside distractions and outside narratives, that's usually when you don't pitch as well, because you're mentally allowing other things to creep into your mind other than pitching. So for me, when I just focus on what I can do on the mound, what I need to do physically on and off the field, that's when I pitch my best, and that's the only way I know how to pitch.
Buster Olney, ESPN.com.
Hey, Max, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Buster?
I'm doing okay. Hey, players have talked about the lack of fans in the stands in these inter-squad exhibitions as being kind of weird and strange. And I'm curious for you, in that relative silence, have you learned anything about what role crowd feedback plays in your adrenaline on the mound, if any?
You're trying to get used to this as best as possible. I don't know exactly how that's going to play or not play, but I know I'm just mentally prepared to not let it affect me. These games matter, and when these games matter, when you get into big-time situations, I think the adrenaline just from competing against some of these best teams in the game, that provides you sometimes maybe the most adrenaline that you need. So for me, I anticipate, attacking tomorrow. This is how we would attack any other game, and hopefully the fans that are watching at home on TV, that's something that they want to watch.
Mark Zuckerman, MASNsports.com.
Hey, Max. I know a lot of times you might prepare for a start and think about the sort of the kind of swings you've gotten, in starts leading up to that, how your stuff is playing. Do you have a sense, given the limited amount of material you have to work with here, of how your stuff is playing right now? And does that affect at all how you prepare for this?
Yeah, I'm just interested to see how, because, with all that time off, I was just working on different little things I can do with the baseball, and I'm just hoping I can implement what I've been thinking of. So, I've been talking to Zook and really trying to figure out if what I'm thinking is going to work, and we're going to get into situations where we're going to throw some pitches the way we want to execute them and see if it works. And if it does, great. If not, it's back to the drawing board.
Is that the kind of thing you could almost anticipate that, one time through the order you might have to then change things up because there's no way necessarily to know how that's going to play out?
That's usually true for every single start.
Yeah.
Ronald Blum, Associated Press.
Hey, Max. As things have played out the last month, has the tension from the negotiations that came apart calmed down at all? Do you still anticipate a grievance to be filed? And as an EXCO member, do you still think this augurs badly for labor negotiations overall next year?
I don't know. As for the technicalities on where things still stand with the union and MLB, you'd have to ask the people above me. My role is to talk to other players and really come to what makes sense most for baseball and what the players believe we should fight for. As for what the legal stuff we should be going forward, I can't really speak to that.
Mike Mamoli, NBC News.
Hey, Max. Now that you're back on the field, you're traveling around DC, you're getting ready to take some road trips. How do you and your teammates feel about your own safety at this point and all the protocols that Major League Baseball has instituted to try to keep you and your teammates safe?
I feel pretty good about this, yeah, and probably better than I even thought we would. I knew we were going to be able to tackle this. I knew there was going to be challenges every single day that we were going to have to face. But seeing the commitment from the other guys, from our teammates, understanding that one person can screw this up for a lot of different people, I think that is a wake-up call for everybody in our clubhouse of how we treat this scenario and how now you have to be a good teammate on the field, but your actions off the field of how much that matters. I think that's a wake-up call for everybody and how we're handling this. And you look across the game as well, we're not seeing too many other positives going on right now, and that it's actually a really, really low rate currently. Now, I know obviously once we get to traveling, going with the season, there's more risk into that. But as of right now, I feel pretty confident about the league as a whole moving forward and getting the season in.
And on opening day, especially in Washington, D.C., usually a ceremonial first pitch is going to be the president of the United States. Tomorrow night, it's going to be Anthony Fauci. What do you think of that choice and not having the president potentially do it instead?
Yeah, I think it's very fitting considering that we're restarting in the middle of a pandemic, and Dr. Fauci, what his leadership has been for this country, for him to be out there throwing the first pitch, I think that's a big signal to our country what that means, that we can do this, and I think he believes in it. If we follow the protocols, we can make the season work, and we believe in following the experts on this, and I think it's a good representation of what the country should be focusing on.
Lindsay Zarniak. Lindsay there.
Sorry, there you go. Hey, Max. I know you said that you felt like this group of guys specifically was going to be able to handle this challenge probably better than most because of what you guys did, how you gelled together last year. What are examples of ways that you've seen that play out now that you guys have spent this time together?
I don't know. It's just following all the little protocols, every little thing. You don't see anybody, fighting any of the protocols. Everybody just accepts it and, understands why we have to do everything, keeps their distance, wears our masks, follows the rules the way we need to. And so, for me, the way I look at this, I feel very confident in our group of how we can handle situations, and how we communicate, just on and off the field. With every decision that needs to be made as a team, we make it pretty well collectively with our leadership. It's not just myself; it's a lot of other guys that are in that clubhouse too that can speak, that really help move the needle, and provide the leadership for our young guys as well. That to understand the different situations that we're going to face, we're going to tackle them together.
And when you talk about the no fans, what does go into your mental prep in that moment? And is there anything that you'll be adjusting to be able to prepare for that, for the lack of that?
The way I see it, it's still 60 feet, 6 inches, and I still got to throw a ball over that plate. So whether there's fans or not, there's been plenty of times in my life where I've pitched and there's been no fans, and I've had to go out there and pitch when I was growing up. So just like a bunch of big kids playing in the stadium, I think we're going to be able to do it.
Fire and Kerr, MassonSports.com.
Hey, Max, thanks for your time today.
Yep.
Steven Strasburg said that in games that he does not pitch in, that he won't be allowed either on the field, I guess. Is that your understanding as well? And how would that affect you as a starter in your planning and preparation if you can't be, with the team during games that you're not pitching in?
Yeah, I'm hoping I'm still allowed to be in the stadium to some degree, whether it's sitting in the stands or something like that. I'm not going home. I want to be a part of the teammate. I get why I can't be in the dugout, but I definitely want to be able to still watch a game and watch my teammates go out there and compete. So there's got to be a way for me to be able to do that.
All right, 2 more questions. First will be from Gerrit Diamond, Wall Street Journal.
Hey, Max. Obviously, there's been a ton of conversation, rightfully, about coronavirus protocols, but I'm wondering, given the short build-up time, just what the overall concern is about baseball-related injuries once you guys get into real games in a couple of days.
Yeah, that's a real concern. And going through this whole process throughout the shutdown, that was something I was very cognizant of, that knowing that we were really going to only have 20 days to get going before the season started. So for me personally, I made sure that I was working out as hard as I possibly could to make sure that I was ready to have a short spring training to be able to get out there and not get injured. That's easier said than done. I can't forecast it, and hopefully that doesn't happen. But to me, I took it on the personal responsibility to put myself in the best position possible to not get hurt. So knock on wood on anything for me.
And final question from Alex Chappell, Masson TV.
Hey there, Max. We know that.
Alex.
Hey, we know that you love to hit. All of your pitching staff does, for that matter. But now having the DH universally applied across the league, what kind of just unique opportunities does that allow this team, and especially with the lineup that the Nationals have?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy hitting, but I understand exactly why we need a DH, especially in this year. To me, I think it's a little bigger than that. I think it gives us an opportunity to see what if you have a DH, you're underneath one set of rules. You have a different chance for a little different realignment, because now every team's underneath the same set of rules. So when you look at how these divisions are divided up between the East, Central, West, this new kind of realignment allows for some new kind of matchups. I mean, here we are opening day and we're playing the Yankees. I mean, that's never happened. So it allows for some new things that happen within baseball, and with an abbreviated season gives us a quick look at. Is this something good that we should be looking at moving forward to have a DH across a game, or is it best to have two rules, have two sets of rules? I think after the season we'll have a better answer to that question.
All right, thanks, Max. Thanks, everybody. I will go track down Sean Doolittle now.